SnowTrax is sponsored by Ski-Doo Snowmobiles, Yamaha, Conquers Snow, and by FXR Racing, Full Throttle Addiction.
Northern Ontario is an interesting place. It has a rich history and natural resources and was once as vibrant a place as one could imagine. And snowmobiling? Well, it was the place to go, the place to be seen, and the thing to do when you were hours from the nearest city and the snow just wouldn't let up. I've been to the Algoma region of Ontario countless times. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, it was booming. The snow train? Been there and done that both summer and winter. It's as epic of a trip as you could imagine, and filled with the adventure that only Algoma can offer. Truly, where else can you board a train with your sled, take a railcar journey hours into the north, and then sled all the way back? It's something from a dream. And the North Shore Loop? You can venture from the USA right into Canada across the ice bridge, and experience a border crossing like nowhere else in the world I know of. Elliott Lake, a place where mining was booming and life was good. Snowmobiling was healthy, and so was the local economy. And finally, Wawa, home of the goose, and quite possibly some of the biggest snowfall numbers in all of Ontario. Trails galore, and the welcome of a small town built upon natural resources. Algoma was the place to be. But economic times have slowed in the late 2000s, and sledders wanted a destination offering something that sets them apart. Something unique, something you couldn't get elsewhere. And I'm pleased to tell you that they have just that. A unique ride that you may not find anywhere else in Ontario. In fact, you might need to head out west to get an experience that rivals this. With an area like Wawa having so much snow, one of the coolest things that they're doing now, and I think honestly it could possibly be the coolest snowmobiling adventure in all of Ontario, is the sort of top secret boondocking. They've got the snow, they've got the land, and they've got the ability to do it. I mean, the only thing lacking when you go to Wawa, if you want to get off trail, is your skill or the lug of your track. If you're going to do backcountry riding or free riding or boondocking in Wawa, the place to stay is the Wawa Motor Inn. I mean, it's got a restaurant, it's got regular hotel rooms, it's got chalets, it's easy to get to, full service, and they're very snowmobiler friendly. So we hooked up with the guys from Jones Power Sports, and we actually hooked up with Russ Jones, and he was going to give us a really good overview of where we're going to go, what we're going to do, the areas that are safe, the areas that aren't.
Russ,
Hey,
how are you doing?
nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. We're excited to go out and ride off trail today.
Gonna be a fun day.
Cool, right on. Well, maybe we'll go inside. Can you show us where we're going?
Let's make a plan.
Perfect.
If you're gonna do this type of an adventure in Wawa, it's really good to call these guys, go hook up with them, and that's who we're gonna group together with to make sure that we did this safely and properly.
Tell me where we're going today and what we can expect up there.
Well, this is a local map that we've got drawn up. Shows all the boondocking areas that I usually send people. These hand-drawn lines. This is an old rail bed. This is all hydro lines. Being as we have 6 power plants around here, that's what makes us have such good riding, because there's a interconnected web of power lines. Some awesome riding just within literally 5-10 kilometers of town.
Not burning too much fuel, which is good, because that's one of the problems a lot of places. You know, you're an hour and a half ride out. You got to take fuel with you. You got to worry about what fuel you're burning when you're there, and then make sure you got enough to get back.
Yeah,
So.
if we burn a tank today, we'll be doing good, because we're never going to be too far. We'll be right into it right away.
Perfect. That's great.
SnowTrax is sponsored by MBRP Performance Exhaust, lightweight performance.
After Russ had shown us where we're gonna go and given us a bit of the guidelines from the hand-drawn map, we went outside. Our sleds were all parked right there, so was his. We all jumped on board, put our helmets and our gloves on, and we were ready to rock. When we left Jones Power Sports with Russ, it was literally 5 minutes out the back door, and we were in really good powder. He took us to this one power line that was just steps off of the main snowmobile trail, and it was completely untouched. Nobody had been there. Nobody had ridden it. Nobody was in that powder. It was amazing just how fresh it was.
Yeah, Wawa's really been blessed the last few years, especially with snow. We've had probably 4 feet of powder. Mid-January, riding has been epic. Even now, what is it, mid to end of March, and we still have 3 to 4 feet of snow. Spring riding is going to go well into April. Last year I rode into May.
So the sled that I chose for this trip was the XRS Renegade. It's a 137 and it has a 1.50 paddle, and I figured this is probably going to be more than enough sled for riding in powder, because most places in Ontario, a 150 with a 137 is. In Wawa, it's not. I took a couple of powder turns with the XRS, and I knew right away, boys, we got a problem. This thing is not gonna work. I mean, it was just struggling to get through the powder. So thankfully, one of the camera guys had a Polaris with a 175 on it, and I jumped right over to that switchback, and the rest of the day was a lot better. We were having a really good time riding on the flat area and just playing with the one little wall that we were at. But Russ had told me, he's like, guys, this is just scratching the surface. I've got so much more for you here. Let's go look at something else. And I mean, when you find good snow, it's hard to pull you away from it, because you're like, man, I don't want to leave until I tore it all up. But Russ said, come on, there's lots more for you to see. And what he had planned for us was some hill climbing. And I thought, well, we're in Wawa. I mean, what kind of hill climbs can there be here? This is not mountainous. And little did I know that there are some pretty good sized hills with lots of snow, and a mountain sled will find its place here.
Yeah, the nice thing with riding in Wawa, we have such a varied terrain. We have everything from hill climbs, tons of hydro lines. That's super popular because we have 6 local power plants, and there's a whole interconnected web of power lines, so that makes some awesome off-trail riding.
We pulled up to this one hill, and Russ is like, here's where we're gonna go climb, boys. I'm looking at it going, this isn't right. I know where we are. We're in Ontario. How can this be? I know the little 137 I'm on, even with the 175 paddle, is not gonna be able to handle these type of hills, but we ended up playing around. Russ pulled up to the top a couple of times, and then I attempted to and couldn't make it the whole way. Wasn't getting stuck, but was having a lot of fun. So anyways, I just decided, hey, you know what? We'll just make the best of this hill with the sled that I got, and started to do some of those sweet, uphill big powder hook turns and turnovers and all that stuff. And we were having a great time. I mean, Russ was falling off, I was falling off. We were, rolling around in the powder, and nobody got hurt. Everybody was having fun. It was wild. It was like a day in the mountains, but you're at sea level, so you're not huffing and puffing. You're not dying for air, and the snow literally is just as good.
Yeah, the power lines that we ran today were mainly, I was gonna say mid-grade, probably the moderate difficulty. Some of it's pretty steep, and some cornices at the top, what makes it interesting. Problem is, there's a lot of times you'll have a trail that goes around, there's a bypass road around, but even on that, the snow was stupid steep.
We shut the lights out when we were done. I mean, we ripped it up. I was doing all kinds of turnovers, and Russ was climbing to the top, and it was like, okay, boys, we're having fun, but we're working through this powder. We got into the hang of it, and I was really enjoying myself and having fun on the sled. Russ said, guys, I got another place I want to show you. It's called the Badlands. And I mean, I thought, okay, sounds interesting. Let's go see what it's all about. The Badlands area is really interesting because it gives you a whole lot of different areas to ride in. Over every hill and around every corner, there's something new and something interesting. And with this much snow, it reminded me almost exactly of being at high altitude. In fact, we found this one really big wind-blown cornice that you could drop right off of. And it's literally like I was at 10,000 feet dropping off this cornice. just like being in the mountains. You drop off, you land into the snow, there's tons of base, didn't hit any rocks, any stumps, anything underneath us. It was just literally, I keep saying this and I keep going over and telling you how it's like mountains, but it is exactly like being at altitude. There's just no difference except you can breathe way easier and you're just a couple hours from Sault Ste. Marie.
The Badlands, a lot of locals call it. That's about a 10 square mile of open area with hills. You have big, huge wind-blowing cornices, drifting. We've probably seen snow today 10, 15 feet deep in some of those cornices.
Every year I get to do cool things, I get to go cool places and experience stuff that a lot of other people won't be able to experience. Wawa is most of those things, but it's something that you can experience, especially if you're from Ontario or Michigan or anywhere across the border. I mean, it's easily accessible. It's got tons of snow that will absolutely blow you away. And at the end of the day, I'm left wanting more. And those are the kind of experiences I want to tell you about, because genuinely, it's not hard for me to talk about this. It's not hard for me to tell you to go to Wawa. You need to go to Wawa. If you're an off-trail rider, it's the place to go. It's close to home, and it's got snow like no other place in Ontario. So honestly, this top secret boondocking thing, it's not going to be top secret for long.
SnowTrax is sponsored by Snowmobile in Quebec. Experience a ride you'll never forget. Closed captioning of SnowTrax is sponsored by Triton Trailer, built for adventure.
No one in the snowmobile industry has taken a more progressive approach to ski technology than Ski-Doo has. While many of their competitors hold on to ski designs for a long time, in some cases up to a decade, it seems to us that Ski-Doo is releasing a new ski almost every other year, and sometimes even sooner. Ski-Doo knows a snowmobile ski is an integral part of its overall handling package, and a good ski can have a very positive effect on how the sled handles, and therefore how satisfied the buyer is with their new sled. And they're the first manufacturer to really innovate when it came to ski design. The original Precision ski was released 1 year before the unveil of the game-changing Rev chassis. The idea of using two carbide runners on a single ski was not a new one, but the Precision model marked the first time a manufacturer designed a ski to specifically complement a new chassis. And it was clear from day one, it worked. The Precision ski proved that slapping any old piece of plastic to your spindle was not the best way to achieve ultimate handling. After the Precision came the Pilot, which was another variation on the dual carbide design, but focused on where the carbides were located versus simply how many there were. The Pilot was also the first ski that could function with either one or two carbides, depending on your preference, and was designed to be tunable by using different length of carbide runners on the inside and outside mounts. Next came a few variations of the Pilot, including the DS, DS2, DS3, and DS6.9, covering nearly every segment of the market from mountain to utility, each one specifically designed for the sled it was being used on. Now Ski-Doo has unveiled the next evolution in ski technology. More than just tunable, the Pilot TS is the world's first truly adjustable ski carbide combination with an integrated clicker knob on top of the spindle. So what does it do? The simple answer is that it allows you to adjust the depth of your carbide, or the amount of carbide runner that sticks out the bottom of the ski, by hand without tools. Why is this good? Well, it allows you to fine-tune the balance of steering bite versus steering effort, constantly and infinitely by hand with no tools. Maybe you leave early in the morning and the trails are tight. The snow would be hard and frozen. Raise the carbides into the ski body to lessen the amount of steering effort required and cut down on the excessive dartiness these conditions often create. When it warms up in the afternoon, the trails get softer and the snow gets a bit sugary. Simply drop the carbide down out of the ski body to gain back that steering precision you'd typically lose in these types of loose conditions. While Skidoo's Pilot TS ski system isn't necessarily the final frontier of snowmobile handling, it's an incredibly innovative piece of technology, and it's further proof Skidoo's team of highly talented engineers are still pushing hard to find new ways to improve your riding experience.
SnowTrax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more.
Arctic Cat has a winner with the Procross chassis. Both the 129 and 137-inch versions have got all the steak and sizzle any discerning rider might be pining for. And in 2016, things get even juicier, with features aimed at making the Procross even stronger competition in every class. To make things even easier on us normal folks, Arctic Cat has also simplified their model naming structure. Instead of ZRs being short and XFs being longer, everything is now a ZR. The sled we're testing today is a ZR 8137 Limited. The Limited package really is the way to go for a person looking for a do-all kind of sled. The LXR is a little bit tame. The Snow Pro is a little more aggressive but lacks a lot of the creature comfort some riders are looking for. The RR package, well, it's just serious. Way too serious for 99% of riders on the snow. The Limited includes things like a mid-height windshield, Snow Pro brake lever, goggle bag, rear tunnel bag, cool front bumper, and tunnel flares that help keep snow off your back. It also comes in two of what we think are the coolest color combos on the snow, all stealth black or all green. Yes, goodies and graphics are important, but they're not what really matters. The features of this Limited that we want to talk about are the all-new Team Industries clutches and the new Fox Zero QS3 shocks. Since day one, we've been less than taken with the overall ride compliance of the Procross. The problem is most notable on higher-end performance models equipped with Fox floats. They're valved too stiff and are not compression adjustable. The Fox QS3 is the absolute answer to this problem, and it offers some unique features that we think are going to change the way people look at snowmobile suspensions. Instead of having 20 clicks of compression adjustment that are easy to lose track of and easy to adjust very wrong, the QS3 has a very simple 3-setting clicker knob that allows you to choose between soft, medium, and firm compression. Not only is this system easy to use and understand, but it also works excellent. The difference between each setting is immediately noticeable, and in our testing has proved to be very well calibrated for nearly any riding condition. The QS3s can be found on the front IFS in a 1.5-inch unit and on the rear arm of the Limited in a 2-inch. The front arm of the Procross 137-inch slide action skid gets only a gas IFP shock. After spending some significant time with this setup, I have 3 observations. First, the QS3 shock package gives the Procross chassis the ride I always knew it could have. 2, we think the weak point in this system is now that IFP front arm shock. It should be replaced with another QS3. And third, we think Arctic Cat should ditch the floats on everything but their mountain sleds. The QS3 is definitely the shock to have. And if you're shopping for a new Arctic Cat this season, we think you'd be crazy to look at a sled equipped with anything else. Team makes some of the snowmobile industry's best clutches and clutch components. It just so happens their headquarters is right down the road from Arctic Cat in Thief River Falls, so it's a pretty convenient pairing. And it's an important one. Arctic Cat has taken a lot of flack for belt-related issues over the past couple seasons, and those who know tend to blame the clutches. The new Rapid Response and Rapid Reaction Boss clutches have been specifically designed for Arctic Cat and offer a number of benefits. In the primary, a steel spider, wider spider bearings, and a 70% increase in spider button contact area greatly improve durability. BOSS stands for Built On Shaft Secondary, and because the 2 halves of the secondary clutch are assembled directly on the driven shaft, there are fewer parts. Belt adjustability is simplified, and weight is saved. These clutches are among the best money can buy, and they work exactly how you'd expect them to. Belt life is increased, and shift response is lightning fast. Ardex 800cc twin has always been a hard motor to understand. It's pipey, makes its power at high RPM, and feels like maybe it doesn't run as clean as it should. But the numbers tell a different story. It makes awesome horsepower, it's undoubtedly fast, and it actually gets adequate gas and oil mileage. We've always liked this motor for its scrappy attitude, but I've said it before and I'll say it here again. The C-Tech 2 600 is just that much better. It's time the 800 gets a C-Tech 2 overhaul as well. The story here is a simple one. Arctic Cat had a great sled in their 2015 8000 Procross Limited, but good wasn't good enough for the crew at Thief River. They wanted to take the 2016 model to a whole nother level. They definitely succeeded. This is the best riding ZR I've ever swung a leg over. It handles great, looks awesome, and other than wishing for an 800 C-Tech 2, we can't think of anything we really want that this sled doesn't have.
SnowTrax has been sponsored by Polaris Terrain Domination, Arctic Cat, share our passion, and by Ontario Highlands. Come wander.
If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more content from SnowTrax TV, click the like button and subscribe to the SnowTrax TV YouTube channel.